Hello, this is Azrael. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. This is going to be part two of lesson one about energies and casting circles. More information about them. All right. Negative energy usually can come into three different parts. You have non-human entities, which runs the gambit from thought forms to demons, negative gods, just in general, anything that was not human that has a consciousness of some sort. Um, Then you have the second kind, which is human entities that can be negative and are trying to, attach themselves somewhere. And then you have what I call negative garbage or negative residue, as many people else call it. But I like calling it garbage because it, just like garbage, it collects, builds up. And when it builds up, it does exactly what a bunch of garbage does. It festers and it attracts parasites like flies and maggots and so forth. So too much negative residue can attract non-human entities or human entities, depending on where you're looking at it. But they come to feed off the energy. So first and foremost, the best way to keep negative energy out your house: don't do negative things. Don't let people who are negative in your house. And unfortunately, if they are a member of your household, you might have to move or tell them to stop or find a different place to live. Either way, don't let negativity in your house. The first side of it, try to calm down and dispel. Now, in the other video, I talked about the bell technique about dispersing negativity, and the sage sticks and stuff like that. This is good, but also when you banish this negativity, you need to speak with authority, regardless if it's got a intelligence behind the energy or not. You got to speak with authority. Now, and of course, when you're doing this, you go to every corner of the house. For some reason, negative energy likes to collect in corners. But anyway, also in doorways and hallways, probably because it's the in-betweens of the house. But in any case, uh, the negative garbage too is easier to remove. It's really harder to remove negativity with a consciousness because it's going to try to fight back. Um, for example, let's say a negative entity, which if you want to call it a demon, again, not all demons are actually negative, believe it or not. But just for the sake of familiarity, evil spirit, would you say evil spirit? If you know the name of the evil spirit, in the magical realms, knowing the name of something helps give you power over it. So, same thing, like if you're going to bless somebody or hex somebody, if you know their name, it definitely makes that connection stronger, right? So if you don't know the name of the entity, give it a name and assign it a name based on what it is doing. So if it's uh, causing foul odors and you can't think of a name for it, you just say foul spirit. Of address what it's doing. And so, for example, like Michael, the archangel, a lot of times the name of the spirit is basically a description. Michael literally means he who is like God. My patron saint Azrael, his name literally means helper of God. Okay, so give the spirit a name according to what it is doing, and that should also work. And sometimes, if you're doing it for a client, you might get more resistance blessing or exercising a house because you don't own that house. All right, the authority has to be given to you in that house to make, well, if you constantly exercise it enough, it will leave. But if you have the authority of the place, so in other words, if it's your house, your exorcism will probably work better than your next door neighbor who comes over and tries to bless your house. That kind of line of thought. Okay. Also, negative. Again, sending these out. Usually, you're addressing other spirits or perhaps a protective god to help give strength. Especially now, again, with a human spirit, you might have to do your general exorcism, but you might have to have appeal to your ancestors, other human entities to help remove it. Uh, Again, you could also use angelic or gods, but sometimes human spirits are a little bit more harder to exercise. Uh, just because they don't fall in the realm of negative spirits completely. These negative spirits are connected to a different kind of energy pattern, and when you're invoking the divine, simply because which will help force them out, the human spirits still have that free will that we have on Earth, so they still try to fight. But again, it eventually it will work. Now, one of the reasons why exorcisms or blessings of house fail is because while you're concentrating on the house because you think the entity is attached to the house, you're basically it's like a tree branch. You're sawing on a tree branch, right? Uh, the wrong branch falls because you out of all the little ways that branch is spread out, you're not cutting it in the right spot. I guess that's basically what I'm trying to say. So most of the time, a spirit is not really attached to the house. It's attached to somebody in the house. So the people probably need to be blessed as well, or exercised, I guess, for lack of a better word. Because a lot of times, like say, people who practice with the Ouija board or play with the Ouija board without adding protection or something like that, a negative energy might attach to the person, where the hauntings manifest in the house, but it's not the house, it's the person. All right, so take that in mind. And also, now we're going to move on to magic circles more. Again, always bless the house, make your house clean, your area, your work area for your magic work clean before you set up a circle. Okay, now one of the things with the circles, you basically you pick up, say, your athame or afami, depending on your dialect, and you walk the circle, pointing out, visualizing the light. Like you're carving into the air, which will manifest on the astral plane, the boundary of your circle. Now, Wiccans and people who practice witchcraft, usually, from if I can remember correctly, they do theirs usually 3 times. They walk the circle, sometimes using some of the elements to do that. Now, I walk the circles. I usually pick up each representation of each element. So if I'm have the air, I'm going to use my air dagger, a cup of water, and I will walk the circle 4 times after my original banishing. So, or the LBRP that I will go into the next video. Now, what I'm about to say here can only be done before you start your ritual, because once you start those energies, again, you might be attracting something negative or something else watching, trying to interfere or just feed off of whatever energy you're giving off, something that's outside your circle. The energies already started moving. So you can't do this. You have to, what I'm about to say, you have to only do only at the beginning of the circle. So basically, let's say you set up your circle and all of a sudden you forgot, oh snap, my candles or whatever is outside my circle, but I already cast my circle. Don't want to walk out the circle to break the circle. So what you do, let's say for the sake of argument, you use the walk around 3 times technique. You take your athame or athami, again, depending on your dialect, and you walk up to the circle and you make an opening 3 times. You move this with your dagger 1, 2, 3, 4 times if you did it 4 times or whatever. You're peeling back the circle. So that's why you can't start the ritual. It has to be done before. If you forgot something, you might just have to redo it. So, but if by opening the circle, by moving the dagger, how many times you've walked the circle, allows you to go out and get your stuff and bring it back into the circle. And then you go back and you visualize you closing each layer of the circle. And then after you had it closed, you make the sign of the pentagram to seal that opening. Okay. In many traditions, some people, can think they could walk in and out the circle. I don't subscribe to that belief. Once you set up that circle, that circle is supposed to be not broken. The only thing in my traditions or understandings, the only thing that could walk in and out of the circle without breaking it is an animal, cat, dog, or whatever you're familiar. Okay, so a little bit on circles on that. So now I'm going to move on in the next video. I'm going to show you guys how to do the LBRP. Okay. Thank you for watching. The next video, I'm going to start putting the links in underneath the box so you can go from video to video to video. The next one will be part 3 of lesson 1. Thank you for watching.